Gundam.tk presents Mega Size Age-1 Normal. Hey, welcome back everybody. Robert184, 2 R's 2 B's from Gundam.tk, which is GundamReviews.net, and this Mega Size model has a mega unboxing with lots to talk about, so let's continue. You'd think for a kit this size and price that they'd actually give you a book master grade style, but instead it's just going to be a 5-page fold out instead of a regular high grade 4-page, which again just shows how few parts there are and how little complexity. On the other hand, there are pluses just in the fact that it's all in color, including that nice looking box art again. The first thing that they're going to do is show you on the front, back, and side view, along with the weapons and even a top view. And all of these numbers here are indicating the decals that you can put on. So the red one that goes under that black part there is there along with everything else. So this is sort of interesting that they give it this much prominence. On the next page, yes, they're basically a whole bunch of warnings saying, don't die eating small parts, I suppose. It's sort of cool to see all the plates laid out with that color thing. That's what you just saw on this black piece of cloth I've got here. Some of the parts aren't going to be used on the poly caps. There's a few that have red X's on there. It's good to see that they lay that out. And there's a whole list down here for the parts. If you want to replace parts, some of them are going to cost a lot more money. So you've got 100 yen for some of these, 60 for these. The L1 part, which is going to be the white shield, is 500 by itself. The LED unit, the usual 700, seals 60, the instruction manual only 100, it's not as much as a master grade. And what is this? The step-up manual, 200 yen on its own. Inside they're going to show off the double separator here, which is just going to come off that plate. It's used in two different ways, one just to separate the parts, but you've also got this part, and it's actually saying go check out this part. If you've ever put a part together and then realized that you forgot to put a poly cap in there or something, I'm sure you've seen this. A modeler's knife, you have to be really careful, but if you use the back end of this double separator, they're using it here if you want to take the manipulator apart to take the hand off the Dodds rifle, but I'm sure you can use this in a variety of places. I'm going to use nippers for the rest of the kit, but just to see this, you can break this part off not too bad, and it's going to leave this much white around either side. And the way you're going to use it is just to put it under the piece, lock it into place there, and then just go like this. For the order of assembly, they're saying put the LED together, then the legs, waist, chest, arms, head, and weapons. The weapon symbol is just going to be the shield on the runners, and all of a sudden, it's all done. Here's the LED instructions, and they actually show you the plate where the parts are going to come off of. Put the 2 batteries in. You are going to need a screwdriver to put that all together. Don't lose the screw. As for the switch itself, you just have to rotate that. I wonder if you're going to have to actually open this all up to turn that on or off, or if there'll be some sort of a mechanism on the outside, or something impressive like what they did with the Master Grade Exia. To the meat of the manual we go, and it shows off the part before you put it together, lays out all the plates, and even has little details like the A icon here is going to have 4 colors on there. So all sorts of tricks that they're using with this color manual. Seems like it was worth the extra printing costs. Little warnings like when you're putting in the poly caps, make sure that you've got the extra little parts sticking up in the right way. They tell you to separate the F1, the F2, take those parts, put the poly caps in before, and then putting in these other small parts before ramping that whole thing together. A lot of instructions. You'd think you could just build it up on its own. Anyway, I still commend them for trying something different, and then you can just put the feet together. And as you start to build up the joints for the legs and put some white armor on there along with some poly caps, it's time to go inside, where for the waist armor, it's still great the way they lay out those plates. Put the yellow parts onto the white, build up the chest, put that yellow part on there. It's going to have a nice big gray part underneath, it looks like. Buried in the instructions down here as part of putting the spoiler on, this is where the LED is going to go on, and it looks like it's got a cool little gimmick here. You put a single booster down there, and you've got to line it up ever so carefully when you're putting it in, because when you put in the LED and seal that all up, you can actually rotate the thruster to turn the LED on and off, which is a much easier thing to do rather than taking it out of something like the Master Grade 00 Quantra, things like that, where with the poor quality of these LEDs that I've seen before, they're more likely to turn off and then stop working when you're actually just trying to turn them on. The head construction is going to be important to follow the directions, because you're going to have the option of doing it with lights or without. 4 big plates and the clear parts to go with it. After you put the white on top of the red on top of the black, which is still going to show a whole bunch of things through the perforations, you put this clear green part behind the head, which is actually going to have a little bit of separation, if you can make it out there, from the white part. And here with this black part from the A plate, what they're saying is if you're not going to light it up, put this seal on so that you can at least get to see a little bit more detail behind the clear green, But if you are going to light it up, because the black part has a hole in it, that's going to show the light through the clear green. So ingenious construction there. Similar for the eyes, if you're not going to light it up, you've got this clear part here which is going to go behind that clear green part which serves as the camera and the eyes. You can put a white sticker on there which is going to trap whatever light, I suppose, but you're not going to be putting a light in the first place. So you'll have white eyes show up behind there, which is going to make the clear green show off the eyes just that little bit more. And here's how you're going to complete the head, including clear green parts for the back camera lens and those nice gray parts which add so much detail. And last but not least, build up the weapons, including the Dodds rifle, which uses some clear green parts. Shows you how to put the manipulators in. It looks like it can rotate 90 degrees there, as it should. There, again, how to use the brick separator. The beam sabers are going to go. Looks like you're supposed to pop them out by pushing down on the bottom. You can take them out and put them in very easily. And that shield, not very many parts involved, although it does involve these two large plates. And with all of that done, here's what you get when you put it all together. The only regular stickers that you're going to be getting is this black one which can go behind the camera lens, and this one which can go over the eyes if you choose not to light up the Gundam. This sheet of stickers is looking pretty impressive too, from the blue to the white to the red, especially those ones on the knees. However, these being water transfers means that you're going to have to go to a lot of effort to put those on, and I wonder if the fact that you've even got this shield and the EFF attached together, whether that's going to completely disappear when you put it on. As somebody who doesn't do water decals, I hope you can tell me with a comment down below. Inside these bags are going to have the LED unit, and you can see that there's room for these two batteries. They're LR41s, I believe, and a very tiny screw to put that all together. The step-up manual is filled with all sorts of useful information from Hobby Japan and Dengeki Hobby there on the back. So as you crack it open, readers will be familiar with all of these basic steps. They're showing you how to do different things, how to cut off the parts, not leave junk behind. Then you're going to have a very useful thing on how to put on these water decals, which is something that I'm not going to do, but hopefully will help people with questions on that, thanks to the fact that there's a lot of pictures, and that is a sharp-looking one painted by a pro who gets paid a lot of money to do this, I'm sure. And the trick that he did here is he's just using Mr. Color Spray, and he's using clear red, clear yellow, clear blue, and clear white, and basically just taking the plates as they are and just painting over them. And then when you do that and let them dry, put the light in, you can have a very interesting effect. And so the idea of putting clear on the plastic, no base coat or anything like that, is certainly something that's interesting and something that I could actually give a shot, because that's right up my alley in terms of the amount of effort required. It's certainly looking good, and they give you some comparison shots there at the bottom. Over to go to the back now for the Dengeki Hobby section. Here they're going to show you how to use the different lining markers. You've got your gray, your brown, your black, and the pencil one. So you can go through, add something to the manipulators, how to put on Mr. Super Clear, dry that off. Step 3 is weathering, which is going to make this guy look a lot more beat up, although very ground Gundam-y as opposed to being off in space. There it is with some more details in it. And finally on the inside, how's that for old school? You've got the real type Gundam mobile suit variation. You could do anything with the Age-1 normal, and it's going to look classic if you do it in old school Gundam colors, whether it's G3 prototype or anything in between. So overall, this thing, useful tips, and it's a good way. The whole idea of this model is to get kids buying bigger and more expensive kits instead of just buying the AGs and the HGs. The 148th coming out and then learning how to do this, some of the stuff inside, could be leading them on the path to master grade, perfect grades, and a whole bunch more money in Bandai's pocket. Certainly though, it's better to have this in the box than not, that's for sure. So that's going to wrap up my complete look at the unboxing of this Age-1 normal, and I have to say, it is a beast. This is my first 148th kit, so there's lots of new features in it for me. The parts are large and ridiculously so, however they've got a ton of detail in them, which you wouldn't expect out of something like this. A few disappointing features, like the fact that you're going to have those parts on the shoulders, which you're going to still have to go through in line as usual. Still, it's better that they do that rather than just giving you big parts, which are going to look even worse in 148th. The extras, like you're going to getting these clear parts, the LED unit, and the fact that the batteries are included. Fantastic bonus. If you want to go through, the manual is, or the step-up guide is actually pretty useful in showing you a few different tricks. I really like the idea of the clear color spray. If somebody checks that out, I'd love to hear the result. And the manual being 5 pages, a little disappointing, but there's tons of detail in there, all packed in, full color. So everything is looking good. All that remains is to put it together and see the end result. Is this going to be 37 centimeters of great Gundam, or something that's just a little mediocre and a very large paperweight? Thanks for watching, everybody. Bye. And is this like dividing by 0 to use a brick separator, or not a brick separator,